Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon, and today we're starting off the Ladder Series that we've discussed in a few of our last episodes, so hopefully this is going to be enjoyable for you guys. Essentially, the Ladder Series is where I hop into the ladder and try and win some games with a certain specific set of rules or handicaps that I put on myself during each month. Now, obviously this is the end of the month, it is the 30th of September today. Let's check out the ladder, how many days I have left on my challenge, 8 days or whatever it is. So this will probably be the only one this week, and then next week we'll start a new ladder, so there'll be a new set of rules next week, I think. So today what we're going to do is a randomizer. I have 6 decks that I'm going to be playing with today, and I've got a dice in hand, and we'll rattle through the different decks. So the ones we're going to be playing with is Manectric Regice, Mienshao, Giratina, Vileplume Miltank, Fighting Crobat, and Metal Ray. All some pretty popular decks in the standard format as well. So I'll flip the coin, roll the dice, and whatever number it lands on, it'll be the deck that I play first. So we're going to roll the dice, and it's number 1. So we'll start off with Manectric Regice, wherever that is. What have I called it? I've called it Iceman. Oh, we're already on it. Cool. So let's jump in and see who we play against. As you can see, I'm nowhere near finishing the ladder so far. 875. They've recently made the rewards much higher end, which is pretty cool. It'll make it more of a challenge each month trying to get to the top. So we found ourselves a game against Jason Crazy, and we're going to flip a coin. It's going to be tails, so our opponent gets to choose whether or not to go first here. And they do go first, as expected. We start Shaman, which is pretty horrible. Also a pretty rough hand, depending on what we can get off these trainers, though. It could be okay. Looks like we see an Entei. Entei's a bit of an issue for this deck, because it can resist so much damage, and Manectric's not the greatest at doing big output. But we do have water attackers in here to try and hit for weakness, so our opponent's going to do a few things early on, get the Scorched Earth down, play that, play a Tiernio, and get a Tool and a Fire Energy on board as well. First things first, I'm going to use the Acrobike before anything else. I think I want to take the Lightning Energy, dumping the water. We can then play a Trainer's Mail. And I think I want to take Sycamore, despite us having 2 Spirit Link in hand. I think Sycamore's just something we need here. So we'll then use our other Trainer's Mail, and I might want to put one Lysander just in the discard pile for VS Seeker plays. It seems pretty good. Let's do that. I'm going to Spirit Link Shaman just for the sake of it, basically. We'll put Rough Seas in as well. Don't think I want to attach here, because it pretty much is a wasted attachment, unless I want to Sky Return turn 2. But that looks pretty bad. We have to be aware of Blacksmith plays with these fire type attackers as well, so if I start committing to the Shaman, it's just going to get killed. So let's dump the energy in the discard. It doesn't really matter too much, because we can recycle it with Manectric once we do find some. We do find an Ultra Ball to find a Manectric, which is pretty good. I think I'm okay with not using the compressor and just dumping it. Other VS Seeker plays could be okay. If I do play it, I would go down more cards, I guess, for a Shaman. I think I'm happy just to get rid of these cards here. And we do have our Hooper, which is excellent. That's exactly what I'm going to be looking for here. As you can see, we play a couple of techs, the Regice, and the Articuno. I played 2 of each. It looks like we've prized 1 of each of those. But we can actually stabilize in the game here, getting some nice Manectrics. I think I just want 2 regular Manectrics and a Shaman, based on our hand right now. There's no point grabbing a Mega just because of a Sycamore incoming next turn. So let's attach to Manectric, play the Shaman. We can also play down Regice. I think it's okay here, because it's got good weakness on things, and also it can threaten that Camerupt if it wants to be the main attacker here. So we can hand it over and see what our opponent gets up to. Seeing the muscle band on the Entei is quite interesting. You often see hard charms on the Entei to trying to tank a bit more. We see that double colorless and the blacksmith, so he might be going for the one-turn knockout. He is. The second attack of Entei called Heat Tackle, and he's going to flip tails to do some damage to himself. But although that looks pretty bad, we've gone down 2 prizes. That has helped us out quite a bit. We can take a knockout this turn, and it will wipe all energy back off of our opponent's board, which is pretty cool. We actually get another compressor, and this time I want to look for Birch to put in the discard. There it is. We also want to put Hex in the discard because it looks like he's got Litleos on the bench. So being able to deal with those is going to be important, and Hex Maniac's a great way for us to get around Pyro. I think I want to throw the AZ in the discard as well. It's something we like to VS Seeker if we have to, but in this match I don't think it'll be too useful. Here we will play that VS Seeker to use Birch. I want to try and keep hold of these VS Seekers, obviously to get more Hex Maniacs in general, so Sycamoring 2 away would have been quite painful there. We do just get Tails, but we have a play for next turn at least. We don't need to Spirit Link up or anything just yet, because we're getting the knockout with Assault Laser. So I'm pretty happy just to attack into the Entei here. Taking a prize back and wiping all energy off the board again is pretty cool. Our opponent goes into the Litleo. The only concern for me not attaching the Spirit Link there is some Pyro decks like to tech Flare Tools just to make it difficult for Mega Evolutions. It looks like the Litleo is just going to be a sacrifice, as we see a Blacksmith to the bench. He actually does attach to the Litleo. It has the attack Raw. But we do just see a switch now. So we see Camerup's first attack doing 30, flipping a coin if heads, 30 more damage. We can rough seize off some of that damage, which is good straight away. We can put some Spirit Links on our guys now. I think I still want to attach to Manectric here. We can also slap the Muscle Band onto Regice. And this is our third VS Seeker? No, it's our second. Okay, that's pretty fine. No need for us to switch. We can just VS Seeker Sycamore here. And get some fresh cards. Hopefully the Mega here. We do get Ultra Ball for the Mega. I think I want to dump some more. I think I can dump the Muscle Band here. And Articuno is probably too important to discard, so let's get rid of a Water Energy. So we can find our Mega. And I think I want to definitely Mega the active. And the question is where I want to start attaching here. It could even be a case of going for Articuno here. It could get some crazy prizes next turn, and the turn after that, because it stays out of range of Pyro. So I think Articuno might be the best bet here. That is to say, if our Mega was to go down. Let's put 2 waters on him. So this Articuno is going to come in really handy here. I'd be surprised if he can get the knockout here. He does have 3 fire on board, so I guess he just needs what's DC Blacksmith. Oh no, he doesn't have fire in the discard, so he needs to find a way of accelerating fire energy somehow. We see a Crushing Hammer, which gets Tails. Quite an interesting inclusion in the deck. So if he just puts DC on, it looks like he's Ultra Balling away to fire energy. So that Explosive Jet isn't going to be getting a knockout, I don't think, this turn. We just see a evolution into Pyro, which I'm not too concerned about right now. Like I say, its damage cap is too low for Articuno to get 1 hit in response, so that's pretty good for us. We see the Shaman come down, and then we see another Crushing Hammer, which also gets Tails, unfortunately, for our opponent. We see just an attachment to the Pyro, so we might be getting attacked once again with Tumbling Attack, which once again does get heads. So I want to use the Rough Seas here. I think I just want to take the prize on the Pyro, because while we still have our Mega around, we may as well take the prize, and it allows us to continue attaching and setting up threats. Knowing that he has crushing hammers, it's pretty good to keep the energy acceleration going while we still can. And because we have 3 waters already on the Articuno, I kind of think I need to attach to the Manectric on the bench here rather than Regice. So let's set up the other Manectric. Take the prize and see what our opponent wants to do here. We pull our other Articuno, which is interesting. Our opponent goes into the Shaman. We see Rough Seas get bounced by the Scorched Earth. Then we see an AZ picking up Shaman. So a good place for our opponent. It allows him to... oh, he then Ultra Balls to find Litleo, which he'll bench and then just play the Shaman for 6. We see Level Ball for another Litleo. Interesting that he's gonna... oh, he might not be benching it. If he does bench it, it's a real target for Articuno. We see a DC go onto the Litleo. The other one does get benched, and that tumbling attack once again getting heads, whittling us down quite effectively. Here we can Trainer's Mail. We get Rough Seas, which is nice. I think all I want to do here is Rough Seas off and retreat into Articuno. I think we just need 1 heads to get the knockout. We've played 1 Muscle Band, our other one's been discarded. So we can guarantee 2 prizes or look for 3 prizes here. I think actually it's probably safer just to go for the Mega Manectric attack. I could also Sycamore and look for a Mega. Takes me down to 4 cards in deck. We'll definitely finish the game before then. 1, 2... actually, we've used both Lysanders. Let's just go for Birch. It's kind of safer. Ideally, we can attack with this Manectric on the bench. Yeah, we do get this Mega, which is just puts us in a much better spot here. There's no need to YOLO the Articuno just yet, just in case we got Tails. It would just really suck if we got 3 Tails. We're in a pretty commanding spot regardless, so developing this other Mega is probably a nice little helpful thing we can do. And it helps us heal this one anyway. So we do see 1 Pyro get evolved. DC onto the Shaman, then we see a Blacksmith. Most likely setting up this Pyro. So we're going to see a Sky Return or just a Retreat here. The other one does evolve into Pyro. And we do get hit with Sky Return. And it goes into the other Pyro. So we can Rough Seas heal. And I think there's nothing wrong with just going for Turbo Bolt here. Kind of want to hold the energy in hand. Just in case he wants to like stall on a Shaman or something. So 1 prize to go. Our opponent has a real mountain to climb now. Do you see that Shaman for 3? There's a Lugia as well that's getting some energy attached to it. Then we see an Ace Trainer. Not too concerned by that. And then we see a retreat into the Lugia. It's not going to get anywhere near a knockout, so we can just attack. With weakness, we can knock out the Lugia quite comfortably and seal out that game. So, pretty easy game for Mega Manectric there. Pyro doesn't pose too much of a threat in that state. So, let's roll the dice again and see what our next deck is going to be. We get the number 5, which is Fighting Bats. Okie dokie. There we go. A combination of Lucario and Hawlucha now, because Landorus have of course been rotated. So Bats right now are really quite good in this climate because Mienshao is being played. Obviously Fighting's good against Manectric. And you have these Bats to help damage Regices and also just damage, spread the cost around a little bit around the board. So we do face up against some Manectric Regice, which is pretty cool. This is an interesting matchup. We've got a fairly dead hand, and we do get hit with a Headringer early on, which is a bit of a worry here. Not only does it not allow us to attack next turn, it's going to hurt our chances of being able to one-hit a Manectric. Because normally we need Muscle Band in the equation to actually get the one-shot. So our opponent's continuing to develop here. We see a Hooper getting a couple more EXs, one Manectric, and then we see an Ultra Ball getting rid of a Water Energy and a Mega. For another Regice, our opponent spotting its importance. He interestingly then chooses to bench the Shaman. He could have fail searched for an extra card there, but he chose to get the Regice anyway. So I think we just have to single attach pass here. The Headringer stopping our main attack, which is a bit of an issue. So this Manectric does get its second energy on board. Then we see a Birch's Observations. And that gets a Tails, unfortunately. Then we see Trainer's Mail for an Ultra Ball. So if he wants the Mega, he can go grab it now. Looks like he's going to go for it, seeing as though he's got rid of some more energy here. There is the Mega. And Turbo Bolt is going to be doing just 10 less than the other attack, but he does get the nice added bonus of accelerating some energy. It could well be to the Regice here. He actually just goes for the other Manectric. So here we can attach the Strong. I want to put the Sash on Zubat just so that we can get an extra card. Oh no, obviously can't do that because of the Headringer. Either way, I think it's fine to get the damage on here. We're going to see an attachment, then a Sycamore from our opponent. There's a Spirit Link and another Mega. That Headringer has really slowed us down here, to the point where he's getting another knockout. Interestingly, he didn't retreat. I think that might have been a decent option. But our hand is absolutely dire right now. We find a Zubat, which means we're not dead. But what else can we do here? I think we just pass. This is a really ugly hand. We do play quite a few supporters in here. We obviously have the Karina engine on top of that, so we're playing a lot more supporters than most decks right now. So a bit of a shame that we've dead drawn here. The Headringer was the big thing that ruined us though. Often not played in Regice Manectric anymore. Oh, we do get a Sycamore off the top, so we're not completely bust. No point in attaching the Sash. No point in attaching for turn either, so let's just Sycamore here and see if we can claw back into this game. We do hit a few things here. We can Ultra Ball away Lysander and Karina. And we're going to go for Shaman because we still need cards here. The Snipe, I think, is probably best on 60, 70, 80. I guess it works on the Manectric as much as it does anything else, so we'll do it just so that we can retreat out regardless. I'm just considering if it's worth putting it on a Shaman right now. The worry is, of course, Manectric's just going to heal off the damage that we do to it with Rough Seas. So we do find a Lucario and a Strong, so that's 100. So we do get the knockout, which is nice. The only concern is this Regice is now set up to unleash pain on us. But we can swing for 100. And we're not actually out of this game yet, which is pretty good. I thought we were pretty doomed there. We find a Headringer of our own. It's a nice tech that I like to play in here because we do play Karina. You can try and do what our opponent did to us this game and really limit your options early on. So we see that other Regice come down. Then there's a Battle Compressor. Our opponent opted to retreat straight into the Regice. If you go into the Manectric, you give yourself more options. It's not going to punish him anyway. I'm pretty sure he would have used Resistance Blizzard no matter what he top decked. But still, good to know. Good to get into those that right frame of mind where you give yourself the most options. We do see a Birch from our opponent now, which does get heads this time. We see some energy starting to go onto this Regice now. and our opponent attacks with Resistance Blizzard. So we have some more snipes to be doing here, and we have Headringer that we can put on something. Nothing too important, but I want to dump it from hand just to get rid of it, because we're Sycamoring anyway. We can level ball here to find another Bat or another Hawlucha. I think the Bat is worth it. And we will bench. We've got 50 damage from snipes. It might be that we just go for a full EX win here. Just because we're already behind on prizes, and it's so painful when we do get hit with Rough Seas. So let's start putting it on Shaman, the one that we've Headringered, so that he can't just Sky Return it up. And then we'll Sycamore. One tech we do play in here is Milk Tank. Milk Tank can really help out against Regice. I'm going to Muscle Band a Crobat. That's also not the worst attacker in the world. We could attach the Strong just to retreat out here. And I'm considering it as a very real possibility, actually. If we do this, then because we don't really have any good outs with Strong Energy, like for right now, none of our attackers really appreciate having Strong Energy on them. This forces at least a Sycamore. I mean a Lysander, sorry. It's just, firstly, what do we go into? Maybe the Crobat, but that feeds into the Mega really nicely. Probably just Hawlucha, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's probably the best play here. We're just going to retreat. As painful as it looks, I think it's what we have to do here. Gonna hold the Stadium because it's good for bouncing our opponent's ones, so let's just pass it over. We do see a Lysander. Where's it going to go? It does go straight onto the Lucario, and he's just going to go down to one prize here. So we can do 100 with a Milk Tank this turn, and we do have a Snipe to kill the Regice, but then the Manectric just comes in to knock us out. We sort of need to hit Lysander this turn to stall on like a Hooper, so that he doesn't just win. So we want to actually not even look for we don't want to look for the Milk Tank at all. We just want to lower our hand as best we can for a Shaman play. So let's attach to Crobat here, if it will allow me to do so. I have pressed it already. It's just doing its good old laggy thing. So we want to attach here, evolve. Don't need to put the Stadium in, we'll just Ultra Ball. So let's put Muscle Band here as well. Golbat over here. So we can take 2 prizes this turn. And if we hit Lysander, we can force an awkward spot out of our opponent where they can't just retreat and win. They've already gone through 2 switches, which is normally all a Manectric player really plays. Hopefully this Crobat works eventually. It's taking as long as it did for the Fighting Energy, unfortunately. Coming to a pretty interesting point in the game, actually. If we hit the Lysander off of this, or VS Seeker, we are actually not in the worst of spots here. If this will actually work. At the moment, I'm just stalling for time because for some reason it's not working. I do want to sort of say lagging just to see how quickly the actual thing responds. Oh, what? That's so harsh. Oh, that's so annoying. That's just like connection error more than anything. Oh, dude. I wanted to see a good game there. Okay. Let's flip the coin. Roll the dice again. It was number 1 again. We've already had that deck, so let's roll again. Number 3 is Giratina. And this is straight Tina. As in, we're playing it without any other tricks. No Seismitoad, no Vileplume, just Giratina with dragon stuff to try and set it up quickly. So up against Nagati. We're going to flip a coin, it's tails, so our opponent gets to choose to go first, which he does. We start Reshiram, which is our favourite starter here. And we've got a pretty strong hand as well. And we're up against another Manectric variant. Our opponent plays down the Spirit Link. Attaches to the bench as well. Quite a conservative route, seeing as though he's facing up against a Reshiram. You would often see that attachment go onto the active here, unless he's scared of like Dragon Ray Quasar, but I can't really see that being the case. Our opponent has... oh, he's playing a switch so he can get more off the Shaman, so it makes good sense here. He's also playing Lucario and has Scorched Earth, which is pretty interesting. So he's going to discard a Fighting to get some more cards off the Scorched Earth. I guess it's good in mirror matches, but it's still bad against the Regice. So, interesting. I know that Manectric Landorus was once a bit of a deck going around when Manectric was first released. So here we actually have the option of using the Scorched Earth before anything else here. The Fire Energy is actually good to keep in hand just because the Turbo Blaze. So I think I want to Ultra Ball both supporters away actually. Yeah, Ultra Balling both supporters away is actually the best thing here. Because Ultra Ball is really helpful for me getting a second Reshiram. If I can get a second Reshiram this turn, I could potentially get a turn 1 Tina, which is really nice. So let's use Hooper. We want Giratina, Hydreigon, and we want Shaman. Hydreigon gives us free retreat now on the Reshiram. We can Turbo Blaze onto Giratina, turn attach, set up for 4 cards. We do hit our Reshiram, which is really nice. Now we just need to hit a another Fire Energy. I'm concerned about using this Trainer's Mail before the Ultra Ball. Ultra Ball gets me more cards with Shaman to get the energy. It would mean we have to play the Skyfield, so we'd have to dump a double dragon, which looks pretty horrible. We do play Bunnelby in this list though, to try and recover that. How good is the turn 1 here? I think it's really good. We have decent odds of getting it as well. So I think we're going to go down this route. We're going to put Skyfield in. Getting turn 1 Giratina is just so good. Oh, it seems to be lagging again, which is a real pain. I don't want to lose just to a disconnect again. It really sucks. Okay, here we go. Things are happening. Let's Ultra Ball. And we want Shaman. Let's make sure... okay, Bumblebee's prized, but I think it's fine anyway. Against Manectric, we're not being one-shot ridiculously. So we probably have enough double dragons throughout the game. So we do hit Reshiram. We don't hit a switch though. So we might have to Sycamore away another energy just to get the switch, but I think that's way too aggressive. So we can just retreat and get the other Turbo Blaze off and pass. Yeah, because Bunnelby's prized, I don't think we can be that aggressive. It would be really nice to have got the turn 1. Well, I play 4 switch in this list, but we just couldn't hit it, unfortunately. So hopefully it'll switch anytime soon. There we go. We get to see a Turbo Blaze. I'm not going to put the tool on just in case he misses the Mega, and it gives him a good target for Assault Laser. The only worry is Headringers that we did get hit with last turn. So I think I might as well put it on. You have to remember that he can't attack us if he's a Mega Evolution. But he does seem to still want to Mega Evolve. Obviously Hex Maniac does get around it. We see the Scorched Earth come back into play, and I think I just want to get rid of Hooper here. It's the most annoying card on our bench to try and move out of the active if we're being stalled. But there is a debate around putting Shaman down as well because of its low HP. Our opponent's also playing Hawlucha, so a bit of a fighting lightning mix, definitely. Then we see a Shaman setting up for 3 cards. And our opponent only has 1 energy in the discard so far. We see a Muscle Band go onto the Lucario. And I wonder what else he's going to look to do here. We do see the Hex Maniac this turn, which is pretty interesting. It denies our free retreat from Reshiram, which is a bit of a pain. I mean, from Hydreigon. But equally, it's sort of not too concerning. So it means we have to dump the Double Dragon, and I think Hydreigon's probably the best secondary attacker we have. Shred can do 80 and just do it onto anything, so now we do hit a switch, which is pretty cool. We can also use Trainer's Mail. It would be nice to get a different stadium. The Professor's Letter is also nice. It means we can actually comfortably use the Scorched Earth. So let's do that. We do hit Skyfield as well. This is really important playing Skyfield in this deck because as you can see, we've already filled up our bench, so we need to have the space for more Giratina. We can play Switch now. And we have the Muscle Band on already, so we can just Chaos Wheel. And it also stops our opponent. It looks like he's playing Scorched Earth anyway, but it can be an issue sometimes, Manectric having the Rough Seas to unbalance our math. But we're pretty okay here. Of course, the Mega right now not doing any damage. The Lucario could come in and swing for 80 if he attaches an energy to it. Another fighting energy, that is. Being a mix of energies, though, I don't know how many actual fightings he plays. So we're going to see a Sycamore here. He actually got rid of a VS Seeker for one of those Hex Maniac plays, so he doesn't want to attack this turn with the Mega, it looks like. We see a Lightning go onto this Manectric, which is pretty interesting. So the Lucario can do 50, but that seems like unimportant damage, and he just attacks with the Mega for 0. I really don't think that's a strong play. We can just, because of that, attach a Fire to Giratina and just go for a Chaos Wheel. I think it's the best option we have. Get rid of his Accelerator, and of course take 2 prizes in the process. You see Hawlucha come up now. Then we see a Karina. Just going to grab him Professor's Letter. And then he plays the Professor's Letter for 2 fighting energy. One of the fightings goes onto the Manectric on the bench. So now that Assault Lacer is going to be doing 120. And putting us in a bit of an awkward spot here. If we were to... So we have a couple of options. We can Lysander and just take 2 more prizes on Shaman here. And put him on a bit of an put him on a bit of a clock. We could switch into a Reshiram first, just to get an extra Turbo Blaze here. And then look to like Sycamore or Birch this turn to start threatening this Manectric with a different Giratina. Because he only has 1 Shaman down, I think I don't really want to take the 2 easy prizes just yet. So let's switch into Reshiram. We don't want to manually attach, we want to Turbo Blaze an energy here. I don't think the Muscle Band is too important on Giratina. It might be important on Hydreigon though. It's probably best if it's not on this guy if we want to look to attack with him this turn. So let's attach it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We can easily bench another Hydreigon, another Reshiram, sorry. And it's whether I want to Birch or Sycamore here. We've only gone through... Well, we haven't used any VS Seeker, so I think I'm happy to just Sycamore. We want to have enough outs to hit this on a Lysander in the upcoming turns. And we do hit both of those things, which is excellent. So we do find our final double Dragon Energy as well. So we can just freely retreat thanks to Hydreigon. And Chaos Wheel for 100. Because we don't have the tool on us now, we're in a lot better shape here with this Giratina than the other one. Especially because it's even being knocked out by a Lucario in its current state. And we don't want to give our opponent the easy knockouts here. We're going to try and set up on this Manectric, take the knockout next turn, and then we can just finish off a Shaman. I can't see any way he can one-shot this Giratina this turn, so I think we're in good shape to win this game. Our opponent can't Mega Evolve without wasting the turn, in which case we have the Muscle Band anyway. Yeah, we have this one we can use with Muscle Band. So we're in good shape. Our opponent taking a while to decide what he wants to do here. Looks like he's going to manually retreat, attach the Lucario so he can hit 80 this turn. Which does look like a decent play, to be honest. Trying to force Lysanders out of us is decent. He might be looking to lower his hand. We actually see a Center Lady. Wow, that does actually change a couple of things. Now we're actually out of range of this Manectric, so we don't win in 2 turns. Which is actually a worry now. Okay, so I think... Oh, geez, that's interesting. Okay. This is one of the main issues of Giratina. Being capped at 120 is such a low cap. So if we hit 100 this turn, I think that's fine. 100 this turn, get knocked out. 100 next turn, get knocked out again. Oh, man. Oh, no, we can go 100 here. 80. Okay, let's go for a Trainer's Mail. Another concern is how little energy we have. So we actually get a Cassius off the Trainer's Mail, which is really nice pickup for us. It means we can put back in a Giratina and try and have like another Blaster trying to set one up, which is really good here. So let's use Cassius now. Bench Tina. And I think I'm okay. Actually, we don't need to Ultra Ball yet. Let's just swing for 100. Because of how low our deck is, we have good chances of getting those energy out next turn. And we can set up a Giratina in a single turn by retreating, playing a switch, then manually attaching Double Dragon. So it looks like it was a bit of a confusing play, but it's so that we can actually stay around long enough to get enough knockouts to win this game. We're playing around like this just because we don't have that Bunnelby, and discarding that Double Dragon earlier was really painful. If we did have Bunnelby, it would be a breeze right now. We could sacrifice 4 prizes easily in the process, use Bunnelby to be our 5th prize, and then like recycle a 3rd Giratina to win. But now we can't do that. So we see a VS Seeker. If he goes for a Center Lady, we could still be in a bit of a spot here. Yeah, we do see a Center Lady. It's a really interesting tech. It's doing a great job against us right now. So we get swung for 80. He didn't actually knock us out, which is pretty cool. So Here I want to Ultra Ball, I think. I think Ultra Ball's fine. And I think I actually just want Shaman. I want to get the most amount of cards so we have the best chance of actually getting this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's fine putting our 8th Pokemon down. We do miss a few things, which is a bit of a shame here. We only hit 1 energy. But it does sort of release the pressure on us getting a full Giratina. Zerosic isn't going to help us too much here. How much math does Muscle Band? No, Muscle Band doesn't help us at all. I think I just want to use Birch here. Can't use Sycamore because we have such low deck. Getting heads off that Birch was actually not the best. It puts us on a real clock. So we can swing for 100 here. We still have VS Seeker in deck to try and capture this Shaman with this guy. As long as we don't get Hex Maniac this turn, we can set up Giratina in a turn. If not, we can set up the Hydreigon and take the 2 prizes this turn, and then do it next turn. So our opponent's got a bit of a decision to make this turn. Again, PTCGO doesn't like me looking at the discard piles for some reason. It's really annoying, this game. I need to see how many VS Seekers I've gone through, if there's a chance of me pulling one from prizes. Something you normally check a lot in real life, but because I'm commentating, I'm concentrating on that rather than what's in my deck. Which is probably not the best strategy, to be honest. We see another retreat from the Lucario. This Overrun is going to get the knockout, so that's what our opponent's going for. Simply an Overrun, that's all he does. And we can go into Reshiram. We can Turbo Blaze. Attach. And retreat. And use Chaos Wheel. We need to pick up this VS Seeker soon. 2 cards left in deck. It's either this turn or next turn that we get it. It's fine either way. Because as long as this Lucario stays damaged enough, we should be fine here. So we're going to see a Karina. That's not a scary supporter at this point in the game. For a Professor's Letter. Going to find a Fighting Energy. Another Fighting Energy. So he plays a lot of those and only a few Lightnings, it looks like. See another Lucario come down. This attachment surely has to go into Manectric this turn, you would think. To pressurize this Giratina at least. He put me down to 30, which is in range of both Lucarios, so I think that's what he has to do this turn. Yeah, okay. We see that on the Manectric. We get spanked for 120. So VS Seeker's our last card in deck. So let's just Chaos Wheel. Take the knockout. And as long as we don't see any shenanigans picking up this Lucario, we should have game next turn. If he Scentiladies, we're still fine. If he's like, it has to be a scoop up at this point. Okay, so we just get hit with Flying Press. So I think that means we win. There's Hydreigon. There's VS Seeker. Let's find ourselves Lysander. And Hydreigon actually clearing up the game for us, which is very nice of him. Taking the last 2 prizes. Very close game. There was Bunnelby and VS Seeker as well, so pretty harsh prizes for us there. But we were able to win the game in the end, so yeah, let's hop into another battle. So let's roll the dice again and see what we're going to be playing with. It's a 2, so we're on actually Mienshao. And let's see what we come up against. Mienshao is one of these decks where if you go up against straightforward stuff, you're going to have a really good matchup. If you go up against stuff like Toad or Bats, it's going to be much more difficult to win. We're up against Killer 314. And we're going to flip some coins. It's heads, so our opponent gets to choose whether or not to go first. They do opt to go first. Let's lead with Hawlucha and hold Mienfoo for the back. And we see a Regice early on. And then we see an Ultra Ball. For a Manectric, so it's Manectric Regice. A deck that's actually more difficult than you would imagine to beat with this list, because Overrun can actually render some of our sashes a bit less useful, and it makes it kind of more awkward for us. But of course, weakness is a real nice help. We see a Battle Compressor followed by a Sycamore. There is a Rough Seas. Our opponent opts to play it early on as well. Oftentimes, the Stadium was a big deal in this matchup, so that's good for us. We can play a Level Ball to find a Mienfoo. Then we'll Karina to find another one. As well as, I think, a Robosub might not be the worst play here. Sash is obvious as well, but I kind of like saving them for a bit later. Especially because they can overrun and just ruin our sashes. Kind of don't want that to be the case, so let's play out our hand as best we can here. I could take, I think, just another Robosub, because we're setting up to Sycamore next turn. So let's fill our bench. Trainer's Mail. I think I'll take the Muscle Band as well for next turn. And we can, if we Letter now and just attack for Flying Press for 60, it sets up for 40, 60, sets up for Mienshao next turn, but he's going to Rough Seas off, so that goes back down to 30. So it means we have to, okay, wow, our opponent just concedes. I was trying to do maths in my head. Okay. Well, that was an easy win. I think we were definitely going to win that game. With that sort of setup, it's just too ridiculous. Like I say, it's just really easy to win against some decks, and then other decks you just lose. It's kind of a nice trait about the deck, but also quite a bit of a pain. So let's use the last deck of the day, and that's going to be Metal Rayquaza. We're going to play up against Lucchese, and we'll flip some coins, and we get to go first, which is always nice. And our opponent looks like he's playing Mienshao, which is actually a real issue for this deck. Because we have quite a straightforward strategy ourselves, being a Rayquaza. One of the best strategies I found for this deck, at least, is just a bounce with Shaman to limit their resources. At least to get through Robos and stuff like that. Bouncing Shamans is fine. Trying to Lysander around is always a great way to take prizes as best you can. Let's play down Bronzor. And we see Mienfoo early, so I was right, it is a Mienshao deck, of course. So I think Aegislash can also be a nice help in this matchup. It really limits his output on his Mienshaos and Mienfoos. And Hawluchas, of course. So I want to grab Hooper, and I think I want to grab Heatran as well. So let's play down Hooper. We're going to grab a couple of EXs here. I think I also want... We already have Mega in hand. So I think just these two is fine. So we'll fill up our bench. And I think attaching to Aegislash is the right play here. We could Ultra Ball to get another discard, but I think I just want a Mega for turn. Probably our best option here. Let's see what our opponent wants to do. See a Robo sub early on. Level Ball as well. We fought an Eevee. So they actually play the Evolutions, which is an actual threat for the whole Shaman bouncing method. If he plays the Flareon as well, that can really hurt our Aegislash method. So Lysandering and killing that is definitely going to be a priority. The one debate about playing the Evolution is that it's straight away just going to be Lysandered, and then you're back to just being a normal Mienshao deck. But I guess if it gets you the knockout on like one Shaman or one Ray or one Aegislash, it's kind of worth playing for the Mienshao player. So, kind of an awkward turn. I think I want to Ultra Ball Fail Search just so that we get more cards from the AZ here. It also means... Actually, don't Fail Search. Grab a Bronzong. What am I thinking? That's definitely the better play. So that we can get the Metal Links off as well. And I think I want to Links first. And we'll AZ up Shaman. And we will set up for 5, hoping to find an energy, of course. We failed to do that. That's such a big blow. Taking an early prize against this deck would have been great. But man, that's such a big miss for us. Trying to see if there's any other plays we have. Because we don't have Skyfield, I can't dump the hand for any more Shaman shenanigans. So we just got to pass it here, which is a real shame. We see a Fighting go onto the Mienfoo, then a Fighting Stadium, followed by a Sycamore. There is Flareon. Then another Mienfoo gets benched. There is Mienshao. And we get hit with Aero Turn for 120, going into a Robo Sub. So because he went into Flareon rather than Jolteon, I'm kind of tempted to go back to the Shaman bounce strategy. I really want to keep VS Seekers around for AZs because they're pretty important in this matchup. But right now it doesn't seem too good. The Escape Rope doesn't seem great either, unless we find DC off the Sycamore. So I think let's do that. Sending up a Robo is most likely what he's going to do here. Yeah. And playing this Ultra Ball means we actually protect Aegislash from being Sycamored, so let's do that. And it means we can dump Altaria, which we don't actually need. And then we'll Sycamore. So we do hit double colourless. We also can bounce the Stadium, which is good for us. It means we can put our Shaman down, so we can try and do this bouncing strategy and see what our opponent can really do about it. And let's have a look, see here how they're going to play around Sky returning each turn. Essentially, it's a great way for us to eat through their Robo Subs. And because it doesn't do enough damage to break sashes, it means they can't just eco-arm them all back until we've actually taken the prizes on them. So we see the Mienshao get evolved fully. Then we see a Sycamore. Getting rid of another stadium, that's really big for us actually. Because the only way to stop the Shaman bouncing strategy is, well, unless he plays the Jolteon, he needs to have a Hawlucha with Strong Energy, Muscle Band, and the Stadium. And he's already got rid of 2, so that's really good for us. So we can just put Shaman down. Sky Return, I think. Yep, seems good to me. I'm basically going to force my opponent to play around it to make him dump more cards. So hopefully we can either mill him or we can just get rid of all the Robos and stuff whilst keeping our resources and then just doing a blowout few turns to get the knockouts. So our opponent keeps Hawlucha there. Okay. The Mienfoo is unguarded. We don't play any Muscle Man, which could be quite good. We don't have any metals in the discard pile either. I think I want to play this Trainer's Mail. Get Spirit Link, which I guess is useless. But we are whittling away at this Hawlucha, so let's just keep at it. It's a bit of a long process, but effective, definitely. Until he starts finding stuff like Lysanders and stuff. This Mienshao is getting more stuff attached to it. We see a sash on the other Hawlucha. Then a level ball for another Mienshao, which also gets played. Interesting because he's already played out. Wow, he gets rid of a third stadium and the Jolteon. That's amazing for us. He's already got rid of the sashes, the Sacred Ash as well. So Mienshao going to bounce for 40. And he's also played, like, he's got less deck now than us, so we can just do this all day. And it's kind of sad that we are, but it's the best strategy that we have right now. Until we can, I guess we could get some more metals in the discard and threaten some other things. Let's do that. Seems good. It does lower our deck though, but not to the amount that we would then lose. So let's get some metals in the discard, get some metal links going, threaten some other stuff. This way we threaten Rayquaza next turn. And that seems pretty good. So if we... yeah, let's bounce, take the first prize here. And I think going into Ray is actually fine here. We can start Lysandering around, taking like 2 or 3 prizes. We see that Strong Energy come down. There's the Mienfoo and the Mienshao gets evolved. Then we see a Lysander for Aegislash. And I think that's a misplay because he put the Strong Energy on. Unless he wants to keep the Aegislash up there, which could also be a play. So let's just... we're doing 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, which isn't enough on the Flareon. So I think we just got to kill Mienfoo here. Could Metal Links elsewhere again, but I think we may as well hold it now. So, Mienshao does come up now. Let's see if our opponent makes the same mistake. I'm going to use Karina to find a Mienfoo and a Focus Sash. There is a Sash. There is a Mienfoo. There's a Fighting Energy. And he's going to get the knockout on us. as you can imagine. Pretty satisfying. So we can go into Ray. A Robo-Sub does come up, but we will bench Aegislash, Metal Links to it. Get Rayquaza going. And I'm going to take out Flareon here. So, we see that Mienshao get evolved. Both Mienshaos evolve. Another Eevee hits the bench. And we get hit for 80 with the Hawlucha. So, I'm going to VS Seeker Lysander, I think. Yes, that's what I want to grab. And we're going to Lysander up Eevee, I think. And we're going to continue with Aegislash. Making sure we're careful to discard the Metal Energy. This forces more attachments from our opponent and stuff like that. So the Hawlucha is not just going to pound away at Ray. This way we're actually forcing Mienshaos to keep bouncing. That Fighting Stadium comes in. Then we see a Tierno. There's that basic energy attachment and then no attack from the Hawlucha, or the attack for 0 damage. And our opponent just scoops. Wow. I think based on how much deck he had left and how many resources we still had, I think we were pretty much on to win that game. We could have taken a further prize on that Mienshao that was on the bench without a sash. Which is pretty good for us, and then we can just eventually pound down that Hawlucha that was then useless because of the strong energy. And he was left with one Mienshao to bounce around with into the Robos, which could have worked, but he would have had to, every other turn, rebench the Mienshao, wait a turn, and stuff like that. So I think we had the winning of that deck right there, and that was basically just being careful with your resources. That's the main way to beat that deck. Also, the Shaman bouncing tactic is really, really good for buying you a few turns and keeping you sort of involved in the prize race as best you can. While they're sort of setting up doing nothing, we're setting up doing nothing at the same time. But eventually we're sort of getting the resources to get going. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. That was all 6 decks that I played on the ladder there. So leave a comment down below what you thought about this series and how to improve it and all that good stuff. Maybe some suggestions for next week's ladder. I know there's a few suggestions floating around already from you guys, which I'm thankful for. So we can make this series entertaining for you guys and for me as well. So it's been Joe from Omnipoke, and I'll see you guys next time.